If you're pouring your heart into your podcast, but still struggling to turn those listeners into paying clients, I've got something just for you. Imagine having a clear, simple plan to turn your listeners into buyers without relying on a huge audience or spending hours on social media. That's exactly what we'll create together in a podcast profit plan discovery call. During this free 20-minute call, I'll help you discover more opportunities for profit in your podcast and give you the next best step to turn your show into a client attracting machine. If I've got an offer that will help you expedite this process, then we can also discuss working together. Book your free podcast profit plan discovery call now by going to podcastingformoms.co/profit plan or by clicking the link in the show notes. I can't wait to chat with you. What if I told you the biggest thing holding you back from launching or staying consistent with your podcast isn't time, tech, or strategy? It's perfectionism. In today's episode, I'm busting the myth that your podcast has to be polished, professional, and perfectly planned to make an impact. Because, spoiler alert, it doesn't. Your message matters more than your mic, and progress beats perfection every single time. Let's talk about why messy action is the magic and how to finally move forward without overthinking every detail. Let's jump in. Welcome to Podcasting for Moms, the show for moms in business ready to start, grow, and scale a podcast that turns their listeners into buyers. I'm Jenny Sonnison, a podcast strategist and fellow mom entrepreneur. You're in the right place if you want to learn how to start and grow a podcast that attracts your ideal clients and really does the heavy lifting for you when it comes to selling your offers, all while balancing life as a busy mom. Are you ready to create a podcast that grows your income, impact, and influence? Let's make podcasting work for you, because as moms, we know how to get things done. All right, let's jump into the episode. Hey there, and welcome back to Podcasting for Moms, the show that helps busy moms launch, grow, and scale their podcasts without the hustle. I'm your host, Jenny Sonnison, podcast strategist, coach, and fellow mom entrepreneur, here to help you build a show that supports your business and your life. And today we're kicking off a brand new 5-part series called the Minimum Viable Podcast Series, where I'm pulling back the curtain on how to start and grow a powerful, sustainable podcast without getting stuck in perfectionism, burnout, or a never-ending to-do list. Because here's the truth that no one tells you. You do not need the perfect podcast to make an impact. So let's be real for a minute. If you've been thinking about launching a podcast, or maybe you've already started one, but you feel a little stuck, you might be holding back because you think you need the following: fancy gear and a pro-level studio, a 12-week content plan fully mapped out, a launch strategy that rivals a Hollywood movie premiere, or maybe just more time, more energy, or more confidence. But none of that is actually required to make your voice heard. And if you're like most of the moms that I work with, perfectionism isn't helping you move forward, it's actually keeping you from starting at all. I've seen so many moms delay launching their podcasts for months, sometimes even years, because they think it has to be bigger, better, or completely polished before it's quote-unquote worthy. But here's the deal. Podcasts grow and evolve with you. And what your audience cares about the most is your message, your voice, and your stories, not your editing software or how professional your trailer sounds. In fact, some of the best performing podcasts are the ones that were launched scrappy but consistently showed up and provided value. Whether you're just thinking about launching your podcast or you already have one that's feeling heavy and hard to maintain, the truth is the same. Your podcast doesn't need to be perfect to be powerful. So let's zoom in on what really counts when you're launching or growing a podcast as a busy mom. The first thing is a clear mission and message. The second thing is a simple structure that's sustainable to stick with. The third thing is a way to stay consistent even when life is chaotic. And the fourth thing is support so that you're not doing it all alone. You don't need a million pieces to start. You just need a minimum viable podcast, and I'll be walking you through exactly what that means in this series. So first up, what is a minimum viable podcast? Think of it like this. It's your podcast in its most powerful, purposeful, and sustainable form without all the fluff that leads to burnout. It's not about being basic, it's about being focused. It's about launching with clarity and simplicity so you can actually stay consistent long term. The MVP framework isn't just for brand new podcasters. I work with moms who've had a podcast for months or even years but feel stuck, scattered, or inconsistent. And together, we simplify it back down to what matters most. In next week's episode, I'm going to be diving into the 3 biggest mistakes I see new podcasters make, especially moms, and how to avoid them so that you can launch or relaunch with confidence. So if you're listening to this episode and it gave you a sigh of relief, you are so not alone. The MVP framework was born out of my own journey as a mom trying to keep up with business, babies, and a podcast. So if you're craving a way to launch or grow your podcast that actually fits your life, then this series is for you. And if you're listening to this and you're already like, okay, Jenny, I'm in, help me map this out, then I've got 2 ways that we can work together. The first thing is you can apply for one-on-one podcast coaching where I'll help you build out your MVP plan from scratch. Or if you're looking for something that's more community focused, you can join Moms Behind the Mic Society, which is my membership, which gives you access to my full MVP framework, plug and play tools, and support from other mom podcasters just like you. Links to both of those options are available for you in the show notes. Until next time, keep showing up, keep it simple, and remember, your voice matters even when life feels messy. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for tuning into Podcasting for Moms. I hope today's episode gave you the tools and inspiration you need to make your podcast work smarter, not harder. If you love what you heard, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. It means the world and helps other moms in business find the show. For more tips, resources, and support, head to podcastingformoms.co. Remember, you're not just building a podcast, you're building your legacy. Until next time, friends.